Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito.
Hello, this is CF Willie. Welcome to a classic modern review. Waited a long time for this moment to come, so let's get into it, shall we? These are my thoughts on Batman vs. Superman! Summer has finally come early during spring in the world premiere of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, the long-awaited comic book movie of all time that has now come across and raised many questions and worries. Will Ben Affleck fit the shoes of the Caped Crusader? Will this be a colossal mess just to compete against Marvel? And how will this lead to the long-awaited Justice League movies? Now, since it's still on theaters, I'll try my best to keep it as non-spoiler as possible. But if you've seen all the trailers already, I don't think I'm giving away anything, honestly. Now the world knows who Superman is and what he can do. Half of the world loves him, the other half, well, hates him. One of those is none other than Bruce Wayne, played by Ben Affleck, for witnessing the destruction of Metropolis in the first Man of Steel movie. Seeing what a potential danger Superman can be to the world, Bruce returns to the Cape of Batman, more ruthless and more aggressive, to face off Superman and beat him in a bloody pool. So after 3 long years of excitement and hype, was it worth it? Oh, how can I describe how pissed I am? I don't know. What do you think, Otto?
Disappointed!
Damn, you just got the words out of my mouth. What do you answer to that, Ben?
I agree.
And I can't argue with that. Talk about a letdown of a mess. I never thought that in 2016, a movie that has Batman and Superman together could have been so boring. Now, it's not the actress's fault. It's just the script was so convoluted with unnecessary plots and building up to other movies that they forgot to make a compelling, deep story about 2 of the most iconic characters of all time. Okay, let's talk about the good things in this movie. And trust me, I got very little good to say about this movie. Ben Affleck was very good as Batman and as Bruce Wayne. I always knew he was going to be good, and he didn't disappoint. He was scary for how demon-like they portrayed him, and I thought it was ingenious to have him witness the destruction of Metropolis for his motivation to go after Superman. And seeing how violent this Batman was, can you imagine what if in this version he was a religious fanatic?
Tell me, do you believe you will?
One thing's for sure, this is not a kid's movie. It was more oriented to adults, and I kinda like that. Jeremy Irons is likewise good as Alfred. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was very brief but satisfying and deservingly stealing the show. In my Batman Forever review, I mentioned that if Jim Carrey was playing this character today, they would not allow half of the things he did. Well, I don't know how J.C. Eisenberg did it, but he made me eat those words. He's getting a lot of heat for his over-the-top portrayal as Lex Luthor. Well, at least he was a lot of fun though, but I was disappointed that they didn't make him a corporate villain. Instead, we have to deal with the mad scientist Lex Luthor again. The acting by far seems standard, but not bad for the most part. Now let's get into the bad things. I don't want to sound like I hate DC, because I don't. Even though I don't know much of the DC comics, I want them to do good. I want them to compete against Marvel and beat their smelly candy asses. But there were just so many things that didn't let me enjoy this film. The editing is chopped off so awful. It goes unstable from one plot point to the other every minute without focusing on developing these new characters to know them better or even care about them. What hurt this film so much is that it tried to throw so many stuff by establishing new characters and new movies and other unnecessary plots while still trying to make it about Batman vs Superman in a rushed pace that it no longer knew what it wanted to be. It tries to follow the Doomsday storyline, it tries to follow the Dark Knight Returns storyline, it tries to follow the Justice League storyline, while trying to be focused on the Dark Knight Returns storyline that it becomes so big and really just sucks you out of what's going on. I don't mind Batman slicing people's brains off, I like this new grittier Batman, but we're never given an explanation of why he gave up his moral values. Any good dialogue or scene he's in it as Bruce or Batman, you already saw in the trailer. There is nothing new to know about him that makes you feel invested or even know him better. Superman is another issue because he's even blander for how little screen time he has. You already saw everything about Superman from the trailer. He's supposed to be conflicted on what is his purpose on Earth, but they talk about it very briefly. You don't have time to get sucked into his emotional pain that he's going through because Lex Luthor is too busy putting jelly beans on people's mouths. This film should have been about the inner struggle that Batman and Superman face with, their ideologies colliding with each other to show how they differ as heroes, but yet show why we're so interested and why we're so fascinated about superheroes. So when they finally duel to a bloody pool, it means something to prove which of them is wrong. But with no build up and little to know about these two, they fight out of nowhere because they have to. I wondered how would they convincingly switch the coin from foes to friends and feel organic. This is what I was afraid it would turn out to be, and I didn't buy it. You know what? This should have been called Fans vs. Critics Dawn of the Review, since that lasted longer. It's interesting how fans are taking it so easy with this movie, while critics are brutally honest with it. Going into it, I try not to listen to the negative reviews and not believe everything I've heard. I had high expectations that this would blow away all comic book movies of the past. Hell, I already had a 9.8 ready to score this movie with. And I know movies are hard to make, and I know that a lot of work and effort was put into this. But did this live up to your expectations? If it was high, after 3 years of waiting, you would expect more awesomeness to come out of it. Oh, and I gotta say something about the trailers too. Hollywood, stop spoiling everything in the trailers for the love of God! So if I had to sum it up, I didn't like it. I wouldn't go too far to say skip this movie because there are some good things in it. The action is great, the fight is a fangasm, Ben Affleck almost fits perfectly the role, and once you see all three heroes together, it's actually enjoyable. But the enjoyment only lasts very briefly. The pacing is rushed and unconvincing, the editing is horrendous, the story is just a trailer, and I didn't care most of the time because everything that happened here, every choice they made meant nothing. This was not about Batman and Superman finally going head to head and differing from a philosophical point of view. This was about setting up the Justice League movies as quick as they can to go head to head with Marvel without establishing a well-founded ground and let us grow to care for these characters. I feel mostly bad for Ben Affleck for how far he's come from being one of the most hated actors in Hollywood to making bad movie after bad movie after bad movie, then taking a break from acting and then coming back on fire with good, award-winning movies to then have him the honor of being casted as one of the biggest badass characters of all time. Well, hopefully DC can get out of the hole they put themselves into. It's not Batman and Robin bad, but it's pretty bad. Hopefully the rated R cut is a little bit better. I wish I could have been more invested into these characters, but if you liked it for the action, I can understand. However, this film had the potential to be great from the start to end, but seems like the dawn didn't fully shine upon this one. So to my regrets, I give it a 4.5 out of 10 stars.
Oh, I need a break after this.
So that concludes my reviews of the Batman and Superman movies. What do you thought about this movie though? Did you like it? Did you not like it? You can comment down below and say, were you satisfied? Would you change something in the movie or would you not? What part of it was your favorite movie or your least favorite? I probably won't be reviewing Batman or Superman in a long time.
But I'm not done reviewing movies yet. Tune in next time for more reviews to come. So for now, that's it for today. Ciao.